Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Stephanie with Lumeria Star. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at my January decks. So I think I typically call this video like my collections and reflections. I think I'm also going to start adding just like some favorite things that maybe like books I read, things I got into in January. So we're going to give this a go. It's going to be decks and then some other kind of favorite things. So let's just get into it and see how this video goes. So let's just get into the decks first and foremost, because that's the part that I feel like is most exciting for everyone. So I'm going to show two right off the bat that I worked with in January, and these two decks were my absolute favorite pairing for January. I reached for these so many times, and these work so well together. So I'm going to first start with just Seasons of the Witch in Bulk Oracle, because this is a newer one to my collection, and February 1st marked in bulk for us. So this was a really fun deck to work with in January leading up to in bulk. So these are the beautiful backs. We've got these like blue backs with these beautiful candles. This might be one of my only decks that are edged in a blue. And you all probably know I'm obsessed with the Seasons of the Witch deck series. And for some reason, this deck, this in bulk deck, she and I, because I do personify my decks, she and I connected really well this month, and the readings were so potent. They were so accurate. I was just obsessed with this deck. I'm not going to lie. It was a really lovely deck to work with in January. I feel like January is a month I tend to feel a lot of that winter depression. The holidays are over and there's not a lot to look forward to. And I feel like this deck was a really lovely way for me to tap into that seasonal energy, to tap inward. This deck has a lot to do with like inner reflective kind of self-work, and I really enjoyed that. And the deck is just soothing. It's wintry. Like, look at this: winter woodlands, sacred space, bathing ritual. The artwork is absolutely exquisite. Groundhog. I pulled this for Groundhog's Day. I adored working with this deck, and I'm probably still going to use it as a journaling deck for the month of February, because I feel like I'm just not done with her. We have more work to do together. So this has quickly become a favorite of mine. I'm actually really surprised, because I felt like the last deck that came out, the Mabon one, again, I know I'll connect with it, but I just didn't connect with it as quickly as I did with this deck. And I don't know what that was all about, but I'm really grateful for it. So the Seasons of the Witch in Bulk Oracle. This is, again, a rock pool deck. This is by Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz, and illustrated by Tiana Lukovic. Such a win for me. So absolutely loved that. That deck felt like a sister deck to the Starseeker Tarot. They were just like, I don't know what it was, but they were vibing together. So this is a deck, this is an indie deck by Nikki Ferrata. I've had this deck for quite a while. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but these are like lavender edges. I don't know if the color's kind of coming through, but this deck is also just really beautiful and soft and gentle, but also like, I wouldn't consider it a hug deck, because it can definitely tell you what you need to hear. It's not going to like light wash your readings, but it is able to deliver the message in a way that's like palatable, if that makes sense. And the artwork, it's different from the In Bulk Oracle, but I felt like they really complemented each other. Like the color palettes complemented each other. It felt like they were in similar like worlds, if that makes sense. And I love this guidebook for anyone who's like on the fence about the Starseeker. Nikki's writing is lovely, and whenever I use this deck, I always reference the guidebook because it's just so good. So this was a absolute winning pair for me this month, and I could not put these down. If anything, I had to tell myself, like, okay, like maybe get a different deck, like don't neglect the other decks in your tarot edit. But these were just such a favorite, so I'm sad to be putting these away for now, but they were a huge win for the month of January for me. So that is the Star Seeker Tarot by Nikki Ferrata. Okay, so another deck I worked with this month, and this is another kind of deck pair I worked with. I felt like these also read really nicely together. This is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. This is the Artist Edition, so I believe this is the second indie edition, and this is by the creator's name, I want to say, is Lindsay Silverman, and it pairs really nicely with the Dark Days Tarot. And this is a square deck. It's an indie deck, and this is by Ren McMurdo Brignac. So let's take a look at these decks. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. So yummy. Okay, so let me put that off to the side. Let's pull the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. This is a really lovely deck, I feel like, to work with in winter. It's got all black backgrounds, and it's got this like starry night kind of background on each card that kind of almost mimics like a snowy night, I feel like. So I think that's why it gives me winter vibes. I love how she has renamed some of the cards. I love her interpretation of them. I think it gives a fresh take on the tarot. So I also use the guidebook in this one, and I just really appreciate Lindsay's perspective on the cards. And there's just like a lot going on. I feel like this is like collage work done really, really well. Sometimes collage decks can be a little hit or miss for me, but this one is just such a win, and I really love working with this deck. This Artist Edition does have, I think, 2 extra cards. One of them is the Intuition card. I forget what the other one is. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe I already passed it. No, opening. Did I pass that card already? I forget what the other extra card is. Yeah, I forget. But with this deck feels like a slow deck to me, meaning I like to pull just like a few cards at a time. Like maybe it's 1 or maybe it's 2. 3 at the max, but any more than that and it starts to feel a little busy for me. And some decks are just like that for me. So I feel like this is a slow deck, and I think winter is obviously a slow time. So that's another reason this deck just gives me those winter feels. Oh, here's the extra card, the Knight. How cool. So I love this. Look at the Empress. It's so pretty. So this is another win. I love working with this deck. Very much a winter deck for me. So the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot was a win. And the deck I paired it with was the Dark Days Tarot. This is a really interesting deck. It's a square deck, which I feel like, you know, adds to just kind of like its uniqueness. The guidebook does say how you can like use directionality in it. I really don't do that. You can. I think that's a really cool feature. But it's a black and white deck. And I love Ren's artwork. It's feminine and evocative. And this deck in particular just kind of taps me into like dark feminine energy. I also have her Mother Tarot deck, which is a colored deck. Like this is black and white. That one's like beautiful kind of pastel colors. I tend to use that one in the spring. This one is perfect for winter. And this also feels like another slow deck to me. I feel like I pull 1 to 2 cards max. With this deck, 3 cards feels too much. And I like that. Like, I think some decks are meant to be slow decks. And I'm so curious if anyone else feels that way, if they have decks that just want to move slower and kind of help you move slower too. So this is just a lovely deck. I love how it's in my collection. I love pulling this out every winter. I think this would also be a good deck for like new moons. If you do any type of like ritual work on new moons or dark moons, I think this would be really lovely for that, or even any type of shadow work. I think that would be great. So yeah, this is the Dark Days Tarot, and I love her, and she was another win for the month of January. And it does come with a great guidebook. The write-ups are pretty simple, but I also find that this guidebook always tends to offer a different perspective that maybe I didn't think of. So I do appreciate that about this deck. So, Dark Days Tarot. Okay, I feel like I'm very congested today, so I'm just gonna like kind of take a moment there. Okay. All right, next deck, which I loved, is the Solara Occulta Meliora Tarot. So this is the second edition of, it's like the second edition, but it's also like its own thing. I do have the original Solara Occulto Tarot first edition, and it has the borders. This one is borderless. Let's get into this. I love this artwork so much. And I split the deck up for a reason, and I will show you why. So I split it into two piles. So here, look at the backs. Look how beautiful this like high shine kind of foil. We've got matte black edges. And this artwork I adore. It's like folksy and dark and weird and whimsical, like all at the same time. I think the restrained color palette really works. It just pulls me into this fantasy world. I do also have a video on my channel. I think I maybe posted it last month for like, I think December of 2023. If you're interested in seeing a side-by-side walkthrough of this version and then the first edition bordered deck. There are some changes made, but there's actually not like that many changes. But if you're curious, you can find that on my channel as well. But I think this deck is so beautiful borderless. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep my bordered edition. I don't know. I could pass it along because I love this one so much, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't want to be hasty because I do know it's an out of print deck. So I'm like, maybe take your time with that decision. But yeah, I just love the fantasy world in this deck. It just ticks all the boxes for me. And I love it so much. Look how pretty this Empress card is. Love that. And then what's cool about this edition, and I'll show you, is the second half of the deck, like this stack right here, is all oracle cards. So it's kind of like you get like a mini oracle deck with this deck. So we've got some really interesting cards. We've got the Energy Vampire, Perversion, Struggle, Faceless Judgment, Temptation, Consciousness. I guess I'll just go through all of these. Prudence, and that there is a Prudence card in the original deck. Channeling, Solve et Coagula. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Entity Attachment, Spooky, Sorcery, Hope, and this one is also in the original. Perspective, Luck, I love this one. Herbal Medicine, Grief, Mercury, Salt, and Sulfur, which I guess is a nod to her Oracle deck that is also out of print, which I am looking for. I would love to find that. Rebus, there's this really bright red foil Griffin card. childhood trauma. My goodness. A new path. Drowning. Theurgy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry. Empathy. As within, so without. Counsel. And Anisadora. And what's nice, because some of those like card titles don't mean anything to me. What's nice is the guidebook does include meanings for each of the oracle cards too. So I really appreciate that. And I just keep them separate so I can kind of like just read tarot. And then if I want to pull an oracle, I can do that. So I just really loved this deck. This also feels like a nice wintry deck, or it could be a shadow work deck if you want. But I'm just so happy that I was able to add this to my collection. I think it was a Kickstarter, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was a pre-order. I'm not sure, but I did order this last year, and I'm really glad I did. So that is the Solara Occulto Meliora, and it doesn't say the creator's name, but you can find more at crimsonasteriatarot.com or pranicforest.com. Okay, 2 more decks that I want to share. I did back this last year. This wasn't a Kickstarter, but this was a pre-order. The Moonchild Tarot Shadow Edition. This is beautiful. This is objectively beautiful. I will say, for some reason, I didn't feel drawn to use it much in the month of January, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's this deck. I don't know if it's because there were other decks I was more excited about, which is weird because the Moonchild like original edition is one of my favorites, and like a shadow edition should be, you would think it would be one of my favorites, but I wasn't vibing with her this month, and I don't know why. I do have my like thoughts on the shadow edition. Some cards, I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but it seems like a lot of the cards, like all she did was kind of like just desaturate the colors. Like it kind of looks like they're like faded, and I would have preferred, I still like the original artwork, but I would have preferred maybe like darker imagery, or just even like using darker colors like blacks and grays. It just feels like a lot of this imagery is the same imagery from the Moonchild, just like literally desaturated the color. Some of the images are new. I know that's a newer card. These are the same cards. Again, it just feels like faded. And I don't know if that's the vibe I personally wanted from this deck. This is an updated card. I don't know. This is an updated card. I think the Empress update is beautiful, so I do like that card. There's an updated Moonchild card. That's beautiful. Again, this is an old card, but like, again, it just feels like faded. Like it almost like was left out in the sun or something. I don't know. I don't mean to be harsh with this deck. I really want to love it. So I'm definitely not going to be hasty with it. I'm not going to, rehome it right away, but I just didn't feel called to work with her in the month of January. And I don't know if I'm just a little disappointed in the execution of the Shadow Edition idea. I just think so much more could have been done. And if I remember correctly, the guidebook's just the same. So I just feel like, I would have appreciated like some newer write-ups or maybe some shadow meanings of the cards. I just feel like I got the same deck just desaturated. So again, some of the cards are new. This card is new. This card is updated. But yeah, the guidebook was like the same. So I don't know. I'm not going to make a snap judgment on this deck yet, but that was my kind of like first impression working with it this month. I was just a little underwhelmed and not quite impressed. So I'm still going to give it time, because if history serves me, sometimes I don't connect with the deck right away. I do at a later time. So maybe that's what will happen with this deck. I hope it does, because I really do want to connect with it. But this month it was kind of a miss for me. So we'll see what happens if I pull for this anymore in the next year. Okay. And the last deck I wanted to share, this is a deck I treated myself to. I got a Barnes & Noble gift card for Christmas, and I have been really wanting to dive a bit deeper into astrology. So I picked up the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck. This is by Lily Ashwell. This is a mass market deck, and the quality of everything, like the presentation is so nice. Like, look at all this. It has got like a nice hardcover guidebook, and then the box within the box. I will say the cardstock for this deck is not the best, and I can show you what I mean. Like mine's already like warping. I don't know if you can see, but like it's just kind of twisting. The cardstock is a little bit on the cheaper side, which is kind of a shame because this was not an inexpensive deck. I want to say I paid like $35 for this or something, and that was on sale. I think it's like originally like $40. But anyway, you know, I guess I'm less concerned about cardstock and aesthetics, and what I really want to do is dive deeper into astrology. So I dipped my toe into this for the month of January. I'm going to keep this deck out because I do want to spend more time getting to understand astrology on a deeper level. I would love to, you know, pull apart my natal chart and really get a better understanding of that. I want to use this actually with what's that book called? It's the book by Stephanie Capone. It's her astrology book. I forget the name of the title, but I have that book and I want to use them together and have like an astrology journal to kind of write down all of the things I'm learning. So this to me is going to be a learning deck. And I do think the artwork is really pretty. It actually pairs really nicely with the Star Seeker too. They have a similar kind of color palette. So they look really nice together. And I love how there's easy keywords on this deck that you can use if you're just doing regular divination. I think it works. And then if you want to use it as a learning tool for astrology, the guidebook is really great for that. I can just show a little bit. Of course, I was looking up my sign. So Leo, and it shares a little bit more about that. There's keywords, like energetic keywords, experience keywords, shadow keywords, an omen. It's just, I don't know. I really like the way this book is laid out. And I think it's really going to help me understand the aspects of astrology that aren't as familiar to me. So this, I'm just getting started with this deck, but so far I'm pleased with it. And I'm excited to continue working with this one all year. And this one will not be getting packed away. This will be staying out for study. So this was a win. And this was the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck. All right, so those are the decks. And then I just wanted to start including some like either favorite things or like product empties. I have a lot of like, I also love witchy products. I love skincare, body care products. So two that I wanted to share. One of my favorite brands, and they're a New Jersey-based small business, so I love that even more, is Witch Baby Soaps. I'm not like affiliated with them or anything. I just literally love their things, and I'm always buying particularly their body scrubs. So I used two of them in the month of January. Old Saint Witch was one of their like winter scents, and it was cherries and sugar cookies. I would use this on my body and it just came out smelling like a delicious treat. Also with the Till Death body scrub, this was a chocolate scented one, and I felt like it smelled like brownies my mom used to make when I was a kid. So like both of these, I would literally come out of the shower smelling like a delicious snack. So I'm a big body scrub person. I guess I use about 1 to 2 jars a month. So these were a win. I'm always buying new scrubs from them. And, you know, Witch Baby, if you want to like, you know, have me as like a person to be an affiliate, I would love to, because I spend a lot of money with you guys. So, these were both a win for me. A candle I finished up this month. I was trying to finish up my like winter scents. This was Old Saint Wick. This is by the brand Sniff. And this was just a lovely, like, wintry scent, like pine. Does it say on the back what it is? No, it was like just like a nice crisp pine. So I really loved that. I bought these on sale, and I also bought the collaboration with Half Baked Harvest. There was like a pumpkin smash. I like to have pumpkin candles all year long because they're just my favorite. So when they go on sale, I kind of buy them, and then I can use them in the off seasons when they don't have them for sale. So that'll probably be the next one I burn, but I really loved this one. The candle I'm burning right now, I'm not going to show you because it's lit, but this is another New Jersey based company. It's called Edgar Allan Joe. Get it? And they are coffee scented candles. So I bought this one. They had a pop-up shop at my local Anthropology back in December, I believe. And this scent is toasted hazelnut coffee. So I have this on my work desk. It's just so lovely to use just while I'm working all day. So that's a new favorite. A product empty I have. I also really love skincare, in case you didn't know. I was able to finish a lip mask from Laneige, and like, it is so satisfying to see all of this gone. This took me a year and a half to use. I've gotten really into kind of like being mindful of how long it takes me to use products and how many things I actually need, which is not much. Last year with my No by Tarot year, I started to also shift into like the products I use and like being mindful of like, am I wasting things? Do I really need it? So like, I'm trying to also get better with just makeup and skincare and body products, and realizing it took me a year and a half to finish this, and I used it every night before bed. So I'm kind of in this mode where I am being very mindful and very intentional of my spending habits and my consumerism habits, and using what I have and spending less is like very much my vibe right now. So it just felt really, what's the word I'm looking for? Satisfying to use up an entire product, realizing this took me a year and a half, and knowing I have so many other like lip masks, lip glosses I have that like, let me use those before they expire and not buy more stuff. We don't need to buy more stuff. So that was just like a nice, satisfying moment to finish full products and just realize how long they actually take me. So that was exciting. And then another kind of aspect to that of using what I have, I kept track of finally finishing all of my artisanal teas. So also not affiliated with them, but Club Magic Hour is one of my favorite loose leaf kind of witchy tea brands. And this, I want to say it was back when the pandemic first hit. So like 2020, when we were all losing our minds in online shopping, I was like, I want to get into tea. And I bought like $200 worth of loose leaf tea. And I didn't realize how long it takes you to use that. So I finally was able to use up my stash. And these might not look big, but these are bags that, let's see, each of these pouches is 80 cups of tea. So you can imagine it took me a long time, and I was so proud of myself that I finally finished all of these this month. So I allowed myself to place a new order. So I ordered a new Mantra Mint. This one is so good. Anytime I like maybe overindulge in food or maybe have a little upset stomach, this is so delicious. This has, it's really hard to see. This is peppermint, roses, vanilla, and ashwagandha. So this blend is amazing. I've already reordered that one. I've also reordered the Child's Pose blend. This is kind of like a sleepy time blend. And this one has organic tulsi, roses, peppermint, lavender blossoms, tangerine, and vanilla. I absolutely adore this one. It kind of gives me that like sleepy time feeling at the end of the night. So I ordered another one of those. This one I also loved. I didn't reorder it just because I wanted to try some new stuff. This was their renewal blend. This was an oolong tea. And this one is oolong, wild roses, goji berries, and peach extract. So that was also lovely. I would order it again. I really liked it, but I just wanted to, like, these ones were like definitely must-haves. This one, I just wanted to try some other flavors, so I didn't reorder that one. This was a smaller pouch. I think these smaller ones have 42 cups of tea. Again, they look small, but like they can serve so many cups of tea. This was the coconut chai green tea. It was nice, but I wasn't like wowed by it. So I did finish it, and I'm not going to, I didn't reorder that one. And then their Ruby Moon. I believe I got this one in a Goddess Provisions box. I think that's how I discovered them initially. This is another kind of sleepy time, nighttime blend because it's caffeine free. This one was hibiscus, blackcurrant, rose hips, cranberries, elderberries, rooibos. Yeah, and this was also really nice. I didn't reorder this one, but I would. But I just wanted to try some new things. So that was really exciting to go through so much tea and just see. It took me literally like 3.5 years to finish all this. So again, it just feels really good to be like mindful of what I'm using and knowing I'm using up what I have and saving money and being conscious of just how much we actually need and don't need. So that as a whole has been very satisfying for me. So yeah, so that was kind of a overview of decks that I worked with in January, some empty products I worked with, some things I got into, all very exciting. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, if you like the little added, just kind of like things I'm into, product empties. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in or you're not interested in. Again, just so exciting to actually finish things. It feels good. I feel like we, in every community, whether it's the tarot community, the makeup community, the like any kind of community, I feel like there is this like tendency to overconsume. Especially if you're creating content. And I just want to be mindful of that like none of us have to be doing that. I know, I mean, everyone can do whatever they want. I do want to say that, but for me, it's not feeling good to overconsume to excess. It's just like, I don't need to do that. I want to use what I have, enjoy what I have, use up what I have, and save money too. Like, let me spend money on things that are like more important, and that these are hobbies for me and I enjoy them, don't get me wrong, but again, I'm just bringing some mindfulness to my own shopping habits and consumerism habits. So that's just been a fun journey for me, and I'm going to continue doing that this year for 2024. I don't think I'm going to go on a no buy year like I did last year. I think it'll still be a low buy year, and I really want to be mindful of, if I do go ahead and buy a new deck, I know why I'm doing it. Like, is it serving a purpose? Is it something I don't already have? Is it because I'm bored, or is it something that's going to be really meaningful for me? So I just want to be really intentional with all of that. So I feel like I'm rambling now, so I'm going to cut the video, but I hope you all enjoyed my January overview of decks and products and empties that I used. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new here, please subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.